Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Yesterday, the president of the ruling Law and Justice Party was in Kędzierzyn-Koźle. During his speech, he touched on the authoritarian inclinations of the German authorities. He criticised the governments of his predecessors for their subservient policies towards Poland's western neighbours. The Law and Justice chairman said that Germany is currently the economically and politically strongest country in the European Union, but the Germans' tendency to create a European state under their leadership is worrying. The tendencies of the Germans to create a creation that will be much broader than the German state and will be dominated by Germany. Germany has already dominated the European Union so much that it can treat it as a tool to carry out this plan. Jarosław Kaczynski also drew attention to disparity in the treatment of the German minority in Poland and Poles permanently living in Germany. Germans in Poland have been granted the rights of a national minority, while the numerous Poles there in Germany have not received this right. The second disappointment, one might say even more acute, is that although in this agreement, however, to Poles certain rights were granted, these provisions were only marginally or simply not respected at all. In August, in turn, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that his country should be the leader of the European community. Law and Justice politicians believe that the German government wants to reshape the European Union so that it works in favour of German interests at the expense of other countries. Previous chancellors showed diplomatic skills, that is, they did their job but didn't talk about it. These abilities, however, are lacking in Olaf Scholz. According to the opposition, President Jarosław Kaczynski is using Western neighbours to play his political game. Today's Germany is not the same Germany as it was under Adolf Hitler. In Jarosław's case, it is only that if a German is a Nazi. The world is changing. We are changing. The European Union is changing. The whole world is moving forward. Only you are still standing still. Jarosław Kaczynski, during an earlier meeting with residents of Gliwice, recalled that Germany paid reparations after World War II to 70 countries, even countries like Mexico, while Poland still has not been paid reparations. In September, a comprehensive report was presented on the losses that Poland suffered from German aggression during World War II. The amount of reparations was valued at more than 6 trillion zloty. Here we are not only questioning German domination in the political issue, we are also raising the issue of war reparations, which the Germans find extremely irritating and expose their flaws. We show that their country is not an Orleans virgin, and quite the opposite. We have this tension in relations as long as the Germans understand that Poland is a sovereign country. The President of Law and Justice pointed out that the previous government pursued a policy of appeasement towards Germany. In addition, he pointed out that various appendages, including the post of President of the European Council for Donald Tusk, and he said that these were, however, payment for the type of policy pursued in Poland. Poland, with the participation of France, among others, has built a coalition of a dozen countries in the European Union, seeking the introduction of a cap on gas prices in the community. However, the demand has been blocked for months by Germany. Ukraine, which continues to fight against Russian aggression, is celebrating Freedom and Dignity Day today, in commemoration of the 2004 Orange Revolution and the 2013 Revolution of Dignity. To avenge their defeats on the front lines, the Russians are shelling Ukrainian critical infrastructure and purely civilian targets. Meanwhile, according to independent Russian media, the Kremlin regularly holds drills in case of an attempted coup against Vladimir Putin. Critical infrastructure has been the target of Russian airstrikes for more than a month. Its destruction is expected to deprive Ukraine of electricity and heat sources before the coming winter. Ukrainian government officials are sounding the alarm that blackouts or shutting down the power system for a period of time could occur. Day and night, work is going on to restore technical power capabilities. We are carrying out all kinds of repairs. We managed to alleviate the situation in many regions where there were many serious problems. Fighting is taking place mainly on the eastern section of the front. Yesterday's exchanges of fire took place, among others, in the vicinity of Liman and Lysychansk. The footage captures the moment Ukrainian positions near Bakhmut were shelled with incendiary munitions. Since the beginning of the Russian onslaught, more than 4,500 missiles have fallen on Ukraine. The fiercest fighting is taking place in the Donetsk region, although there are fewer attacks today due to worsening weather. The amount of Russian shelling, unfortunately, remains very high. In the Luhansk Oblast, we are slowly moving forward during the fighting. Yesterday, there were more than 400 artillery attacks in the east. We are grateful to everyone who holds our front and helps our forces. The south is defending itself, consistently and precisely destroying the potential of the occupiers. To date, Ukrainian police have opened 45,000 criminal cases in connection with crimes allegedly committed by Russian soldiers against Ukrainian citizens. 47 torture sites have been discovered. In Kherson, which was liberated a week ago, Ukrainians are trying to return to normality. The first markets have reopened, But today's Russian shelling was a reminder that a few kilometers away, across the Dnieper River, the enemy is stationed. The Russians, leaving the city, not only destroyed communications installations, they went so far as to blow up water and sewer manifolds. They stole most of the things you could take with you from here. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, since the beginning of the war, Russia has lost about 84,600 soldiers, nearly 2,900 tanks, more than 5,800 armoured vehicles, and more than 1,800 artillery systems. In terms of the operational and strategic situation, Ukraine has the initiative. Officially, the Russians have completed the mobilization of troops. However, according to the United States Institute of War Studies, preparations are underway for a second draft. Soldiers who refuse to follow orders face 2 to 3 years in prison. The Kremlin regularly holds Federal Protection Service drills in case of a coup attempt, according to reports by the independent Russian website Insider. Such a coup may be carried out, perhaps not yet, but in the event of Putin's total defeat, which is imminent on the front lines, along with Russia's total defeat in the war. The overthrow of this regime is imminent. During the 68th annual session of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly in Madrid, Alliance Chief Jens Stoltenberg warned of new economic threats emerging from China. He stressed the importance of continuing to rearm NATO countries.
At the summit in Vilnius, defense investments will be an important topic, and I expect allies to continue making progress, including with commitments beyond 2024, because 2% of GDP on defense should be considered a floor, not a ceiling, for our defense investments.
Today's plenary session of the European Parliament will vote on a resolution calling Russia a state that sponsors terrorism. The wording was agreed upon last Thursday. The document also includes a reference to the return by the Russian Federation of the wreckage of the presidential Tupolev that crashed near Smolensk in 2010. First, it cuts off all discussion as to Russia as such in the European Union Parliament. Recognizing Russia as a terrorist state is, of course, causing some countries who played along with Russia to go on hold. The European Union may soon introduce caps on gas prices. The solution is opposed by Germany, which has been blocking this demand for several months. However, according to media reports, a coalition of countries in which Poland and France play major roles has forced the European Commission to present a draft proposal, the contents of which may be announced before Thursday's Energy Council meeting. Turkish warplanes carried out airstrikes on Kurdish militant bases in northern Syria and northern Iraq yesterday, destroying 89 targets. The Turkish Air Force has fired on shelters and ammunition depots in retaliation for a bomb attack in Istanbul that killed 6 people a week ago. The strikes targeted bases of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, and the Syrian Kurdish YPG militia, which Turkey says is a wing of the PKK. Ankara has blamed Kurdish militants for the blast on Istanbul's Istiklal Avenue on November the 13th that killed 6 people and injured more than 80. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the explosion on the busy pedestrian avenue, and the PKK and Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces have denied involvement. The Turkish airstrikes were carried out in Kandil, Aissos, Hakirk in Iraq, and Kobani, Tal Rifat, Cizre, and Derik in Syria, the ministry said. The 89 targets destroyed, including shelters, tunnels, and ammunition depots, it said, adding that many terrorists were neutralized, including so-called directors of the terrorist organization. A spokesman for the SDF said that the Turkish strikes had destroyed infrastructure, including grain silos, a power station, and a hospital. 11 civilians, an SDF fighter, and 2 guards were killed, said Farhad Shami, head of the SDF Media Center, on Twitter. The SDF said in a statement that they would retaliate for the strikes. A breathtaking holiday art exhibit, Artek House's spectacular factory, the Holiday Multiverse, embraces viewers in an immersive festive spirit in New York's Chelsea Market. Using proprietary digital technology projected onto panoramic screens, founder and chief creative officer of Artek House, Sandro Keresiledzi, presents a multiverse of gifts opening into giants swinging jingle bells, nutcrackers, a train ride through wreaths, never-ending tinsel, and a candy cane carousel.
It's a spectacular factory, so we welcome the people to this spectacular factory where each gift opens up to this immersive world of holiday theme. And the idea was like, how can we immerse people to this, the holiday spirit and the digital visualization of new way to experience it. It's to ignite that holiday spirit, the hope, the faith, the bright future. I think that's the message. That's what from our standpoint is that we want to share from our house to everybody's houses. So the people that walk away from here, they can walk away with this warm and feeling that is, life is beautiful, and with all the upside downs, all the roller coasters, all the crazy things that we're going through, but life is beautiful. It's a blessing to be alive and experiencing what we experience.
Arctic House's spectacular factory, the Holiday Multiverse, runs until the 8th of January. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.